So, what housing markets will boom in 2026 and which ones might go bust? We're starting to see folks like Redfin, Zillow, and others make the call, make the case for what part of the country will be hot and what parts of the country will be struggling in 2026. I actually generated a list of the top 5 boom and bust markets from Redfin and from Zillow. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's see if there's any overlap. Are Redfin and Zillow calling out the same markets, the same parts of the country? Let's see. Let's start with Redfin. It was the first article I read. Let's start with the bust. What real estate markets will struggle in 2026? And we'll just go down the list. Nashville, San Antonio, Austin, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and lastly, Miami. Again, very much a Florida and Texas dominated list with a little sprinkle of Tennessee with Nashville. How about the markets that are going to boom? Well, we've got the New York City suburbs. Interesting. Maybe a little Mondani effect. People leaving the city, maybe. We've got Syracuse, New York, Cleveland, St. Louis, Minnesota. Minneapolis, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Madison. Interesting. Kind of the, what would you call that? The Northeast, kind of the snow belt, maybe. Usually you talk about the Sun Belt. Maybe we got the snow belt on fire, according to Redfin. Well, let's flip over to Zillow and an article I read from Lance Lambert in Fast Company. They're calling it sellers markets, buyers markets, essentially the same thing with different vocabulary. Let's see if there's any overlap on the buyer/bust markets. We've got Florence, South Carolina, Jackson, Tennessee, Gulfport, Minnesota, Lafayette, Indiana, and Longview, Texas. Longview, Texas. Wow, we got somebody from Vietnam. Check this out. Matthew from Vietnam checking us out. Hey, Matthew, how are you, buddy? That's pretty cool. I'm not even sure what time it is in Vietnam. So again, those were the buyers markets according to Fast Company and Zillow. Now for the sellers markets. We've got Rochester, New York, Syracuse, Hartford, Connecticut, Bridgeport, Connecticut, and Racine, Wisconsin. So again, to me, at least on the boom/sellers market, it is definitely concentrated in the Northeast, that what I'll now call snow belt. And then there's really not much overlap with the boom and bust cycles. For example, in Fast Company, we do not have a single Texas or Florida market. Oh no, we have one Texas, Longview. But yeah, that is it. And then we have one overlap in Tennessee, Jackson versus Nashville. Not even sure if those two are close together. At the end of the day, it seems like there are lots of markets that might be calling for a bust, but the boom markets are very concentrated in the Northeast, which I thought was interesting. Well, it is a new week, and we always talk about the key economic variables coming at us, and those start on Tuesday. We will get the Small Business Optimism Survey. Remember, folks, we need to start tying together these economic reports. Last week in the ADP report, what was the problem? The problem was small businesses were losing employees. They were laying them off. I don't remember the number, but I want to say it was 90,000. If you had less than 50 employees, that segment of the economy lost 90,000 employees. So again, we want to see what's going on in small business. They were struggling. We will get the JOLTS report, although like a lot of government data, this is delayed. This is from September. Really, all we want to know is it above or below the month before, which was 7.2 million. Wednesday, we will get the Fed rate decision. There's a little bit of angst. Will they cut? Will they not? But as always, the moneymaker is going to be Jerome Powell in front of the microphone. Remember, folks, last time he was a hawkish cut. What does that mean? It means he delivered the cut, but he was nasty in front of the microphone. No cut, nothing coming, blah, blah, blah. Will he do the same thing, or will it be different this time? Thursday, we will get weekly claims. Again, remember last week we had a report that went sub 200,000. We think the data was dirty, meaning Texas and California were lagging or missing. So will that be a makeup? Will we get a rebound in that because of that data or not? And then Friday, we will once again get Fed speeches. Fed speeches are going to be important because they will start talking January, and we'll see if the market gets ahead of us and starts pricing in a January cut. Fortune, again, talking about 2026, and Redfin, the Great Housing Reset. Man, you got to love these angst titles, don't you? Great Housing Reset starts next year. I don't know about you folks, but when I hear the word reset, I think crash. So what does Redfin say? Get this, folks. I think Redfin's listening to us. Income growth will outpace home price growth in 2026 and continue for a prolonged period of time. Folks, Redfin is 2 years late. I told you that was happening 2 years ago. And in fact, we have had 29 months in a row where wage growth has exceeded median home price. 29. And all of a sudden, Redfin's coming out with this great reset. Hello, folks. You are 2 years late. You should start watching my channel. You'll get this data earlier. You'll look more relevant. According to Redfin, home price growth in 2026 will be 1%. Who else forecast that exact number? This guy. And then finally, wage growth will come in at 4%, which is roughly what it's been the last 29 months, where wage growth has exceeded home price growth. So Redfin is trying to call this the Great Reset. I would call it the Great Continuation. As I told you 2 years ago, even when the dumb Jerry Springer analysts are calling for 50% housing crashes, I told you, unfortunately, the only crash would be in transactions. Got it. Not in price. Got it. And what would happen is we would have a slow grind sideways. It could last 8 years, is what I said 3 years ago. Folks, if you don't know how I did that, just go get the 50-year spreadsheet. It's on my website, one rental at a time. I think it's the 54-year spreadsheet. And just go back and look at 1978 to 1996. I don't know why more economists and Jerry Springer analysts haven't looked at that and realized that, you know what? We're repeating the same cycle. So it was an easy call if you study housing for 50 years instead of only being a GFC PTSD analyst. Too many people have PTSD from the GFC. We have had many, many housing busts other than the GFC. So if you're watching an analyst that only talks GFC and everything's a GFC, find somebody else, please. Folks, I got some good news for you if you're in my school community. Number one, I finally uploaded the last video from the Get Your Money Right course. That's a $99 course that I've sold $60,000 of over the last 5 years. And I now give it away for free inside school. It was a thank you gift for getting us to 500. Sorry, it took me an extra 2 weeks. It was time consuming, took longer than I expected, but it is now there. You do have to get to level 3, which is really easy to do. Introduce yourself, be active in the forums. You could be at level 3 in less than a day if you were just active. So again, go get it. It's free. If you somebody that likes to save money, you could join school today. Go look at that course. Also gave you my buy box course. It's in there. And you can get a lot of education. Also, there's a 10-week boot camp in there that I charged $1,000 for, also at level 3. So again, if you're somebody out there looking to save a bunch of money, go join school for a month, get all the education, and then decide if you want to join or decide if you want to stay. Second, if you are in my school community, we are going to have Rob Abasola from Rawbuilt. He is going to be speaking at our Vegas event, but I'm going to bring him inside school on Sunday at 8 a.m. So 1 week from today, he will be speaking in school about short-term rentals. Again, one of the things that I love to do is bring you experts where I am not. I have never done and probably never will do short-term rentals. So why not bring in an expert? Why don't we bring in somebody who's done it, doing it, somebody who was famous on Bigger Pockets, and you'll be able to ask Rob all kinds of questions. Again, you must join school. Lastly, we thank some people for joining. We have Jason, Chan, and Brian. Thank you for joining. Make sure you introduce yourself and get active, and you too could go get all of those goodies. Don't know if you saw the news, but California real estate bounced. And it looks like I might have called another thing right. That is the August bottom. California real estate sales bounced back last month, 282,000, up 1.9% from September, up 4.1% year on year. In fact, it was the highest total sales since February. Folks, if you don't know how odd that is, it's extremely odd that October was more than March and April. That just tells you how bad the markets were in March and April, that October sales beat them. The good news is I told you that was coming, and we got that right as well. And then let's finish it out with what we got on Friday. We got PCE, aka inflation. Again, it is a number that frankly means very little. It's old, it's aged, it's outdated. But nonetheless, we'll talk about it. Headline was 2.9 as expected. This again is PCE, and core was 2.8, better than expected. It was slightly better than expected. The other thing that happened on Friday is it looks like Netflix is going to buy Warner Brothers for a cool $72 billion. That's with a B, folks, $72 billion. And anything else I want to talk about? Now, I guess we'll say this last thing. Last week, JP Morgan, Bank of America, and Goldman Sachs said December rate cut coming. Well, Morgan Stanley just piled on and said, yes, folks, a rate cut is coming. So everybody on Wall Street thinks a rate cut is coming. And of course, I will not disappoint. I will stick with my guns and say no cut. No cut this week. But again, that's just because I don't mind being wrong. I hate flip-flopping just to match the market narrative. I stick with my guns. And again, I will continue to say no cut on Wednesday. But if I'm wrong, so be it. I'm wrong. I'm wrong all the time. All right, folks, I hope you have an amazing day. Like, subscribe, comment. Remember, folks, I read for about 90 minutes every morning to bring you the daily financial news. And you know what? You can click subscribe in less than a second. Click subscribe. Nice little give to get. I read 90 minutes a day so that you don't have to. Just hit that subscribe button. Of course, join school. If you are a landlord, go to Steadily. Steadily Insurance. Looks like they're going to save me another $600 on a house. We are getting the quote fine-tuned, so we'll know Monday or Tuesday. But yep, looks like they're saving me money again, which is not a bad thing. Thanks, folks. Take care. Later.